I think if there's anything that is super common amongst, I guess, everyone alike, it's the need for change. And change is always an interesting topic because you have moments where, you need change or things have to change, and then you have moments when, you're comfortable and, you don't want it to change, and yet change comes, you know? It's very interesting thing, and I think most people, at least that I end up talking to about that type of thing, don't really like change. Sometimes there's like relationships that need to end, and that's different. But overall, people struggle with change. They like consistency. It's easy to predict. It's easy to deal with, I guess you could say. And so that's something that's commonly talked about, I feel like, amongst me and my peers, is like how do you deal with said change? How do you overcome it? In a world that makes it seem that change is so negative, how do I deal with it? It's something that often comes up, whether it's a struggle or something needs to happen. It's always talked about, I feel. It's one I've encountered a lot of in my life, and I'm sure, like everyone else, it's common. It's something that anyone can really talk about, whether it's a situation that they dislike or something they had to overcome. It's a very common thing to deal with is change. So we come around, and I guess I was just thinking about it, since having dealt with quite a bit recently of this change. I can talk a little bit about how I've dealt with change in my life and how it's made me feel. Biggest moments that require change normally involve growth too, and I think we often forget that. We have these things of change, and maybe we resist it. Maybe we don't want that thing to happen, whether it be moving up in grades at school, as in, like, I don't know, 5th grade to 6th grade. In Texas, that's going to from elementary school to middle school. Maybe it's from middle school to high school. Maybe it's graduation to adulthood, college to grad school. Whatever it is, there's always things going on that we have to deal with of that sort. Basically, it was in a spot. It's like, well, what am I gonna do now? What's the next step? You've graduated. Right now, you're working at Walmart. Wow, that really sucks. And I can't get those. Wow, this is unfortunate. What are you gonna do, Colin? You're out here. You're working at Walmart. You're a cashier. Not much is going on. What are you gonna do about it? I'm like, I don't really know. And after doing some soul searching, I decided I would. I mean, it was a strategy in multiple ways, and it allowed me to do a lot of things. I went on a mission, and in my church, I am part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and in that church, when you serve a mission, it's not like 2 months and you're done. It's a 2-year commitment. And a lot of people hear that and they're like, whoa, why would you ever waste that time? And well, let me add to it, I left when I was 19. And most people are going to college at that point, doing stuff. So everyone that wasn't a part of my church or knew really what it was like, whoa, what are you doing, man? That is a crazy time to just kind of up and leave and do that type of thing. But I got to meet a lot of people and grow as a person out there, and I mean, I can tell you endless stories from my mission, of people I've met, struggles I had, things I encountered. there was so much there. But to just keep it, you know, focused, I guess. Big growing time for me. And that's basically what it was, you know. I helped out a lot of people and saw a lot and learned Spanish, which was nice. Beetle! So I go out on this mission, and I mean, you go from, at the time, what I was doing was I was on phone calls every night with my buddies. We were playing games until like 3 in the morning. In church missions, they have a very strict schedule on things you're doing and stuff like that. So during these 2 years, I didn't play games. I didn't have any with me. And I couldn't do anything really of that sort. That's just, you know, was part of commitment. You're not to do these things. And so after 2 years of not doing that, you can imagine coming home to my phone, all my games, and my friends. It was definitely a shock coming back. But I was excited. I was thrilled. It was, you know, part of a journey. I was trying to look at it in a positive light. You know, this is a growing experience for me. This is a time to learn about what's going on out here. And so, figure out my place in the world. But I think that was the problem I had. I didn't know where my place in the world was. I was on my mission and thought a lot about it, but I was just kind of nowhere. I think I talked about this a little bit in my last video. But we come back home, and then I have this new job I'm working on the railroad, where I'm working on trains, I'm doing all this stuff, super busy. After having like a set schedule I was playing for 3 hours, now I'm on a job that I'm on call most of the time, and that one's been pretty difficult adjustment. Imagine sleep schedule just thrown on top of its head. Hang out with friends, you can throw it out the window. You definitely can't even make time, but that comes at the sacrifice of your sleep. So you really gotta decide sometimes what you're gonna do with your time. So learning time management definitely has helped me grow that ability to do that. But it doesn't mean it's easy to do it, you know. If I don't have at least 6 hours of sleep, I'm gonna struggle to stay awake at work. These shifts are 12 hours. I have to be awake, added, available. It's a whole thing. But recently, I just finished the training part of that, which I've been doing what I've been going to do this whole time, just with someone there on the job with me. But now it's gonna be just me. I'm gonna be grinding it out, working to get that bread even more myself, which is nice. I'll be off of training wages and whatnot. And that's always nice, you know, making more money. No one's gonna complain about that. But it does bring a sense of nervousness, you know, to myself. Like, now any mistake I make costs, and it could come at the cost of your job, or even in the case of the railroad, a life if you make that grave of a mistake. I don't think I ever will make one that bad, because I'm pretty knowledgeable and, you know, I guess just I'm pretty spatially aware I definitely don't have plans to slip up in such a manner, you know? But doing stuff like this, working with heavy machinery, is really new to me. So it is an experience, you know? And that always looks good on the resume, it makes good money, and has great benefits. I cannot complain. Honestly, truly an amazing blessing that I've been able to see in my life, you know? Man, this guy will not fall. I always have to fall down, and that's so annoying to me, man. I just want to get them to go away. 20 rupees, don't spend it all in one place. Me when everything costs at least 30 rupees minimum. I think that's funny. I'm gonna go back. Oh, I forgot it. I don't jump from there. I wonder what would happen if I just Oh! He exploded! That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that. Getting into the adult working life is a lot different than the type of thing I'm normally doing. I mean, I'm a gamer, that's what I do, you know? But, having to pay rent and all of that, all of those responsibilities is new, and I feel like I'm handling it okay, while also beating myself up for not doing as well. Sometimes I feel like these jumps are stupid. Sometimes you make it at this height, and sometimes you just have to guarantee it by going lower on the rope. It's super cringe. That's not enough? I hate that. If there's if I don't normally hate on this game, if there's one thing I hate about this game, vine jumps. That's it. Bro. What was different about that one? I still did it in 2 kicks. Whatever, man. Anyway, I'm always now on the road, is what they call it. So I go to hotels a lot, I'm away from home. I have to travel quite a bit, basically, for work. And from my past jobs, which were just, you go to work, you go home, it's definitely a new thing for me. It takes some adjusting to. And I can always make the excuse, oh yeah, the money is worth it. It makes up for it, but it is hard. It is unbelievably hard to make that adjustment. You have to develop the ability to sleep at any time, when it's daylight, when it's night out. We're talking, I can get called at like 2 a.m. to work at 4 a.m. It's like any hour of the day I can get called. And it is brutal. And this is annoying. The stuff I'm normally doing to do damage to me isn't working. There we go. Now we can actually play the game. So I've been doing a lot of work as to why you've been seeing less uploads, as I started uploading a ton for a little bit. Oh, I completely mistimed that. But I got this new job, and so I gotta, you know, learn all the rules and stuff. It's been a whole thing. I did the other way. I've been having to learn all the rules and make sure I'm keeping up and learning from mistakes made on past jobs that I've been on. So and that type of stuff takes time, and I think I just finished it now. which feels really good. You know, it feels accomplishment, but now it's just the beginning, you know? I did side! Man, sometimes I think controller is great, and sometimes I think it's just better with motion controls. This fight is better with motion controls, is what I've learned today. It's alright. It is whatever. And so, how have I been dealing with that? Not very well, if I'm being honest. We have stuff with work going on non-stop. I don't have a lot of time for friends, nor to meet people. I just moved to somewhere new for this job. I don't know people here. And it has been super hard and lonely. I don't think I've ever felt so alone other than on my mission, but on my mission I actually lived with someone. Here I don't live with anyone. I pay for my own rent, so it's lonely. Some lonely nights you just can't help but cry yourself to sleep, you know. I know people have been there. I'm not ashamed to bring it up. It is hard, man. I'm hoping over time I can deal with it, but I thought of a good comparison to make. Oh, sorry. I thought of a good comparison to make with change. It's kind of like the rising tide. The rising tide, we know it happens non-stop. It's a daily occurrence. But sometimes it can really catch you off guard when you're not ready for it. If you don't prepare for the high or low tide, it can dramatically affect whatever thing you're going into. So let's say you are trying to go fishing or whatever, and you set up a spot. Well, or even building a sandcastle on the beach, right? If you don't time it right, your sandcastle will become submerged. The water could rise and totally destroy your efforts. If you're fishing, you could have to move fishing spots because you go from where you were standing ankle deep in the water to now like 6 feet under. So it can be really dramatic, and sometimes it's something minor. It might move just a couple feet and fill your sandcastle moat. But it's always there. It's always affecting its surroundings, right? And that can go the same for change. Change is always right there. You know it's gonna happen. In fact, you can guess the times it's gonna happen. It's like going to a new school, moving to a new place, growing up, new job. In any circumstance, you encounter change, and you can know that's gonna happen. But if you're not ready for it, it can really mess you up. And just completely change all your plans. Machi! In a world like today, where change is so prominent, the tide is always changing. Oh, hi-fi. I know what Goddess cubes are, thank you. In a world that's always changing, or the tide is always adjusting, right? It's important to learn how to move with it. It's so easy to drown in these ever-changing waters. Bro, where'd he go? There we go. Give me my 20 rupees. You can either drown in the waters, the deep waters, or you can learn to swim. And some people, it's not necessarily that they choose to, but they end up floundering quite a bit, you know? If you learn how to swim, you learn how to overcome said problems. Life becomes so much easier to deal with. And I'm not saying life is ever easy, it just makes it slightly less overbearing, I guess, is a good way to put it. And I always thought that idea is kind of poetic. You have the rising tide. It happens daily, day in and day out. movement of the waves, movement of the moon. It's all there. But if it catches you lacking, you can very easily drown. You can get stuck in the undertow that moves up. And it become very dangerous very fast. Life has so many slippery slopes that are just... You know, there's no guardrail. You start going and you're kinda gone. And so, it's very important to be mindful of that type of thing. I guess my small little message for you today is just there's change all around, and yeah, it can be very hard to deal with. It can feel near impossible. But when you put forth the effort, you will see miracles. You will see success. But if you give up, you will you will drown. Life is hard. I get it. I'm not one to be like social media, I guess, and just be like, be positive. It will be okay. It's life will hurt, man. You'll have things happen to you that come out of a field, and you may not be able to deal with it. I don't want to be part of that toxic positivity type thing. I often find myself really sad at, and I have not figured out 100% way to deal with things, but I am trying. And I think it's just really important to celebrate the small wins you do have, not dwell on the past fears you may have. For example, something I did a couple days ago is I actually met a guy, super chill, super down to earth, just real guy. If you know anyone like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, he is just awesome. And we started talking, got to know one another, exchanged numbers. It's been very cool to interact with him and stuff. So I'm hoping that we can hang out more. And that's nothing crazy. I haven't done anything insane, but that is a win. You know, I talked to someone. I know that me, along with many others, terrified to meet new people, and I didn't think I was that type of guy, but yeah, it oftentimes can feel like that. I'm just terrified of being ignored, being forgotten by these other people. And to be honest, it has happened. I've been ignored, I've been forgotten, and it is just painful. When you meet people like that, it's because you tried. In fact, I initiated that conversation. If we didn't, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have met him. I wouldn't have gotten to know him. I would still be alone. But because I did that, I was able to at least start a new relationship there. A new friendship. And that, I don't know, I felt like pumping my fist. I felt like I was on top of the world. And it's such a small thing. It's not like, oh, I've mastered my job, or, oh, I saved someone's life, but I got a friend. You gotta look for those in your days. And you may not have a win every day. I would try to have one every day, but sometimes, the day sucks. You didn't get anything. But there is tomorrow. Don't let you yesterday stop you tomorrow from being successful. That's something I'm trying to teach myself and overcome. Change happens, guys. If you're struggling, you're not the only one. And that doesn't necessarily help. I know that, because I've been told that very same thing. But I do want you to know that it is possible to get out of that. There is more to it than just drowning and floundering, just gasping for air. It may be hard, but you will be able to surface. You will be able to float on that water. You will be able to learn how to swim. Just keep on trying, guys. You got this. Next thing you know, you'll have a new day. start again.